for me after Blue Oyster Cult, the one that I thought Imaginos was going to launch, but it didn't. But you know, I guess the time that it took to do that and everything that happened, kind of, you know, I grew up and became capable of showing up and being ready to show people how to do cool stuff with music.
Yeah. But you did go back to school, by the way, right?
Oh yeah. I didn't have a college degree, so I couldn't be a teacher when I started working here, so I was like a teacher's aide, and the starting pay for teacher's aide is pretty low. So that's one of the reasons why I was still working at the Drummers Collective. And then I was also doing. I started with Peter Noon, and then eventually got the gig with Spencer Davis, and the people here were very understanding, especially in the beginning. When I was a teacher's aide, I would take off for 3 weeks to go do a tour, and then come back and still have a job. They'd say, "Well, we can't pay you for those 3 weeks." I said, "That's okay, as long as I have a job when I come back." And they said, "Oh yeah, you're doing our computers, you know. Well, just hopefully nothing will break while you're gone, you know." So they were always happy to have me back, and you know. But then once I got my teacher's license, it became a little more difficult because now I'm on the regular contract, and you know, there's not, you know, I mean, you know, it's good because there's pension and there's health care and all of that stuff. But then on the other hand, it's a little more difficult to just. I can't take 3 weeks off to do a tour.
Maybe not.
Unless it's the summertime, and then I'm just, you know, that's the beauty of this thing. So every summer I go out and do. Does
that dictate the Blue Coupe thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
Kind of does. I mean, I can do a long weekend. You know, I can do 3 or 4 gigs in Europe. You know, if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can take a day. I just can't take a block of time off.
Right.
You know, I can take a day here or there, you know, and I have done that, you know, just to be able to a travel day or something, you know, but I can't, you know. So I've been here for 25 years. I have another, you know, 2 or 3 years, I think, before I retire. And then I'll, you know, then I can go out and do 3 weeks.
And be an old bluesman.
Old blues man, just like Muddy Waters.
You think it'll go that way? Do you ever think about that?
I think I have no intention of stopping playing.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be, if you don't see me playing for an extended period of time, you know I'm sick. Because you know, and knock on wood, you know, my health has been pretty good, you know. I mean, I was always pretty healthy as a kid, and I just try and eat right, exercise, not do too many drugs. No drugs, no drugs, no drugs.
Come on now.
Nah,
we're talking to drummers.
No, I'm telling you, man, I'm straight up, man, straight up. I will have a beer after a show. As a matter of fact, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah.
But I only have water during the show. I cannot stand being high and play, which is odd because when I was in BOC, I don't think I played a gig where I wasn't high. I was high every gig.
Smoke a little weed, or are you talking something a little more?
No. Oh, well, occasionally other stuff, but mostly just weed.
Right.
Just weed.
Right.
But then I also smoke cigarettes. And I would get to the end of the show and feel like I needed oxygen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That never happens now. Ever. I get to the end of my show and my hands are all bloody.
Now or?
Now.
Really?
Yeah. Because I have no callus. You know. You know, you really have to keep doing it every day. And, you know, when I play here with the kids, it's like I don't want to show them up. You know. And I'm certainly not going to play full volume. So I'm playing at a quiet level.
Sure.
I'm showing them all the jazz stuff, you know. Legit stuff. Let's, you know,
stay legit.
Read the music there. Keep your eye on the page. No, don't look at your hands.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I have no callus. You know, a little tiny bit. I played last weekend. Well, I went over to France and I played some gigs over there, and I had like a little tiny blister here. And then, of course, it came off last weekend. But I will play with gloves for the first 40, 50 minutes of a set. If we're doing like a 90-minute set, I'll do half of it with gloves on.
Right.
Just so that I can make it through the end without having terrible blister. You know, if I get a blister, it's no big deal. I just don't want to get to the end and be in agony.
Yeah.
You know, if I get one at the end of the night, that's okay. I don't care. But you know, unless I have to play another gig the next night, and then I'll wear the gloves the whole night.
Yeah.
And I'll wear the gloves for like 3 days, and then if I have more than 3 gigs in a row, I won't need them. You know, because it just takes a little while to build up the thing. And the biggest thing for me now is that, you know, in Blue Oyster Cult, I would sing like 1 song a night. Whereas in Blue Coupe, there's only 3 of us. And we, you know, my brother Joe sings most of the songs, but a lot of the songs we'll sing together. You know, we'll sing the same, you know, we'll interchange parts. Like in Don't Fear the Reaper, he'll sing part of the song, I'll sing another part of the song. You know, if there's like a hard guitar lick or something, you know, he'll be singing and then I'll be singing, and you cannot tell the difference. We sound exactly alike. So it'll sound like, except I have a little more rhythm in my vibrato, depending upon the tempo.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I had a singing teacher, and I said, what do I do about that? And she said, why do you want to change that? That's how you sound. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, so, but that's about the only difference is that, you know, I have vibrato just from, you know, upper body motion.
Well, you have a similar speaking voice. I mean, I don't know if you remember. I knew Joe from years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's a similarity just in the just in the tone. It's interesting. Yeah.
Well, whenever I talk to anybody from upstate, I mean, we just played this gig at Robert Hilfiger, Tommy's brother's cottage up there, and I thought it was. I called him on the phone. I thought I was talking to my brother. I said, "Is this Joe?" He said, "No, this is Bobby." I said, "Oh, Bobby."
It's just an accent thing.
Yeah, it's just an accent thing, I guess. I think that maybe Joe and I, you know, I do know that when we sing, we sound almost alike. I mean, I can always tell the difference, but like we've done, the last record we did, we would switch in the middle of a line. You know, we would both we would both shoot, you know, we both do a version of the song, right? With 2 different mics. Like his setup at home and my setup at home. And then we put them together and we take the best line.
Interesting.
Whoever nailed it the best. And so we would just switch, and you can't even tell. You really can't. It's amazing.
So how is that working with him now, by the way, as your brother?
I think it's great. I really like having him to bounce. You know, he really, you know, he doesn't. He makes me work. He really, you know, he doesn't let anything slide. It's like, come on, you know. We did one song where he wanted some kind of drum beat that was like the motorboating, as Lars Ulrich would call it, the motorboating thing, which would be like this.
Oh, that, yeah, I know, the helicopter or that, yeah.
To me, that's the most boring thing. It's like so 80s?
Right.
Mid-80s or 90s,
yeah.
Mid-90s, you know, that as soon as the early heavy metal, there was all these guys that would do that, you know, and it's just like, come on, there's got to be something, you know. We were having a difference of opinion about how I should play that part, you know, and I really didn't want to do that, and he wanted me to do it. He was like, I got the easy drummer, you know, the superior drummer track, and it sounds great there, and you should just do it like that. It works. And you know, and I sort of had Dennis on my side. You know, Dennis is like, I don't know, it's sounding kind of schizophrenic, and you know, it's like, you know, is this a heavy metal song or is this a AC/DC song? You know, it just wasn't. So I did the track, and the thing is that I guess I was just not in the right mood because that part was kind of okay. But then the simple part was like not really, it wasn't like locking in, and it never did. And so, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. And he's like, no, we got to record this song over again. We got to do it again. And then I listened to it a few times, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I can do this better. So, I mean, just in terms of my drum part, he keeps me keeps me honest. But we argue more about lyrics than anything else. It's all about the lyrics, and I'm like, but nobody even hears this stuff anymore, you listen to what's on the radio that's not great lyrics, and they're like, well, do you want the song to be not as good as it could be? I'm like, okay, you got me on that. You got to make it as good as you can, no matter if anybody hears it or not. It's sort of like the Steve Jobs thing. How do you make something insanely great? By making the stuff that nobody even sees as good as the stuff that they see. Really.
Yeah.
Think about it. So there's something to that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So anyway.
Al, thank you.
Yes.
This has been
it's
tremendous. Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this, man.
No problem.
Thanks, Al.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to kick us out pretty soon. We better stop. Okay.
I did that. What? Do it.